again everyone! Today I'm going to show you how I create my polymer clay keychains and pins. By the results of the poll I did in my IG page, this is what most of you wanted to see. So I hope you like it. Let's keep watching. So, to start making clay pins and clay keychains, first you need the clay itself. In this case I have 3 colors that I'm going to use for the 2 designs that I'm going to work on. I have a blue one. This is from Sculpey Primo. And I have the color red. This is from the brand Cernit. This is how it looks when you buy it. And I have the color white, also by Sculpey Primo. And from these 2 colors, well, these 3 colors, I made some more, and I saved them in this little bag. It's pink. Yeah, this keeps them clean and in order. Then you also need the tools. I have these ones. You could say that these ones are the official tools to make all this stuff with clay. I'm just going to use these 5 tools today to make these 2 designs. But I also have some other things that I use to make these things. First, I use this pen. And I use it because I don't have the official roller that everyone uses to make clay creations. And as long as I don't have one, I'm going to keep using this because that's all that I have. Plus, can you see this? Isn't this amazing? This pen, it was so cute, but it doesn't have any ink now, so I'm using it as a roller. And you also need a cutter, but I'm using this. It works just the same, and I have this thing in many sizes, so really there isn't any problem. But yeah, I would recommend for you to use the official materials, not these ones. Not those 2 ones at least. After that, you also need some paint. That's in the case that you don't have the clay in the color that you want. For example, like I didn't take out my red acrylic because I already have some red polymer clay. So yeah, so the ones that the colors that I don't have in clay are yellow, these 2 shades of pink, and this green. So yeah, I'm gonna use these 4 colors. And yeah, the brand doesn't really matter. I use from any brand actually. These 2 ones are fairly cheap, and well, these ones are a bit more expensive, especially this one because it's the Expert series. But yeah, it's any type of brand works, and you can also use wash. That's something that I've seen other artists use for these clay things. After that, when you're about to finish your clay creation, you use these things depending on what you want to create. In my case, I used this little thing. This is the thing that you use to hang your keychain onto something. I don't know the name, but that's it. This I use for the charms when you use it in a necklace, but you can also use it as a little keychain, I guess. but this is not very safe as a keychain, I would say. And this disconnects the piece with this little hook part. I don't know how to call it. But yeah, I think I'm missing one thing. I'm going to search it later. And obviously, because you're going to paint, you will need some brushes. I especially use small brushes because the things that I do, the details are very small, so yeah. But to cover bigger parts of the piece, I also use these flat ones. These are very great. And yeah. What else you need? Well, I also use this one. This is a translucent liquid bakeable clay, and what this does is basically this works as a glue, because if you want to stick one piece of polymer clay to another, you can secure it with this, so you make sure that it won't break later. Yeah. And I also use a cloth and a paper towel to clean my brushes and to just do my work faster. This cloth is so old, it's embarrassing. And well, a cup of water for your paints, and I think that's it. I would recommend you to start your piece by sketching what you want to do first. With my first clay piece, I just did whatever I wanted, and the result wasn't bad, but it also wasn't the greatest, and I felt quite bad because I felt that I wasted my materials, and yeah, that doesn't feel really good. So yeah, I would recommend you to sketch your design and then go straight into making your keychain, your pin, whatever you want. So yeah, let's start. I started with a strawberry, and what I do first is I get each color of clay and mix them till I get the color I'm looking for. And to get it mixed correctly, I cut the pieces of clay and mix again, so I don't have a small piece of red or a small piece of pink or white in my clay. So I repeat these steps again and again till I get the color that I'm looking for. But in the case of this strawberry, I wanted to have some kind of a marble effect, and because of that, I'm not mixing the colors completely. I'm doing it to a point where I can see the different shapes that the red color and the white color and the pink color leaves in my clay, because I think that looks good. That's very personal. I would suggest you to try different things. Maybe if you want a plain color, then just cut and mix the colors again and again until you get that plain color. But if not, you can do what I'm doing, because this is also a nice different way of working with clay. Take me to your heart. I belong to you. Take me to your soul. Doing the little leaves of the strawberry was actually pretty easy. You just need to make sure to stick correctly each little piece with the glue. Also, just be careful with the thickness of each leaf, because if you make them too thin, in the end when you bake your piece and it's ready to go, if you're not careful with your keychain, the leaves could break. So try to make them of a decent thickness so they don't break so easily. Now it's time to create the space hamburger. I keep changing its name. Well, I don't know. The weird hamburger, the space hamburger. I don't care. Well, for this I do the exact same thing with the strawberry. I pick the clay colors and I mix them till I get the color I'm looking for. In this case, I'm not doing any marble effect. I'm just looking for a plain color. So I mix, cut, and mix again till I get this lighter blue. And after I get it, I start forming the shape of the bread of the hamburger, the top part and the bottom part. After that's complete, we start with the inside layers. This almost feels like cooking. I start making the shape of the lettuce. I'm using white clay in this case because I don't have a green color. So later I'm going to paint it with some acrylics. You will see. Then I start creating the burger. I chose a red clay for this, and it's pretty easy. It's similar to the buns, but I realized kinda after I baked everything that I didn't add the shape of the meat in the clay. So what I do later is paint it and try to fix it. But yeah, if you can, try to do some shapes with your tools to make it more similar to a burger. Then I create the cheese, which is also pretty easy. I just cut a thin layer of pink clay and add 2 of those on top of the burger. After that, I finish by creating the tomatoes. In this case, I'm also using white clay because I don't have yellow clay. So yeah, later I will paint it and have it in the color that I'm looking for. This little step is very optional. I did this because I didn't want the bun to be looking so tall in the keychain. So with this tool I kinda made a hole inside the bun, and that way I could fit it nicely in top of the rest of the hamburger. To finish it off, I add some dots in the top bun to copy the texture that the bread of a hamburger has. So yeah, I do it with this tool, and that's it with this hamburger. And this is how they look. Now, to have them ready to bake, you just need to add the little hoops that go on top of the keychain, so you can add the rest of the keychain, basically. And this part, I make sure to secure it with some glue, the one that I was using before. And yeah, I repeat the same with the strawberry and the hamburger, and I make sure also to put it right in the middle so the keychain is not crooked or anything. So yeah. Now it's time to bake them. Okay, so now we have these two charms ready to paint. In this case I'm going to paint this part in green. This is going to be the lettuce, and this part is going to be the tomatoes, but I'm going to paint them in yellow for this weird hamburger. And in this case I'm going to paint these little leaves in green, lime green. And yeah, this one is going to be very fast to finish. Yeah, so let's start. Here I'm painting the green parts and the yellow parts that I mentioned before. In general, this step is easier because I already have most of the colors completed with the clay, so it's now all about painting the green parts and the yellow parts. Also, you will see me painting with blue and with pink, but that's because I saw that the blue had some white spots and I didn't want that in the final result. The same with the pink. So yes, that's very optional. If you don't want to paint it, if it looks good to you, then don't. Just paint the parts that you want, maybe the ones that are missing. It's very up to you.
Remember time. Remember time. Be lost without you. Be lost without you. Be lost without you.
I know my palette is very messy, but I really like how it looks when you mix the paints in the palette, so I had to show that to you because it's so smooth, so soft, so amazing. to finish them, I'm adding my name in both of them. In the case of the strawberry, I'm just putting an S because I have no more space. And with the hamburger, it was easier. I could put my entire name on it. So yeah. Okay, so now it's time to coat our charms. For this time I'm going to use this varnish from Reeves. The last times that I used it, this has been going great. All my pieces were super shiny, so I really like it. So we're going to do that, but before, you have to think of some kind of support to hold your pieces while you varnish, because this thing is quite delicate, and if you touch it, your fingerprint will stay on your piece, so you have to be very careful. So what I do, something very unique maybe, I don't know who else does these things, I don't even know another way of doing it, but what I do is I simply roll a piece of paper. I roll a piece of paper. Why do I do this? Well, I do this to hang it in the little hoop on top of the charm. That way I can put it in some kind of a stick that I have, so I can let my charms dry without them touching anything. So yeah, this is what I do. I just roll this thing, roll and roll, and roll a bit more, so it is as thin as possible. And sometimes I don't make it too thin, and in those cases I just take another piece of paper till it is thin enough for it to fit in this thing. Oh, and I have done it a bit thick. Let's fix it. Maybe I can just keep rolling it. Let's try. No, I have to try again. Give me a minute. Okay, fixed it. So now I can fit it in this little hole. And with this, I'm going to tape it so it doesn't fall with some regular tape. I'm just going to tape it in here. I hope I'm not doing something too weird and nobody else does. I doubt someone else does this, but well, this is my way of doing it. So now that I have this, I am ready to paint this little, I was about to say cherry, this strawberry. Okay, so let's start. Oh, before that you have to make sure that every part of your little charm is dry, completely dry, or else this thing is going to move the paint around, and you don't want that, so be careful. So let's start. And this is the final result after adding 2 coats of varnish in each one of these. I did 2 coats because I wanted some extra shine. I find that kinda cool. And yeah, so this is the final result. Now I'm going to add the little accessories or the little beads that go on top of the keychain, just in this one, and some hoops and the keychain itself, the thing that you use to hang the charm and stuff. And you also will need this stuff to create the little parts that go in this, that connect with this keychain. I don't know how to call this, but you will see. So yeah, let's begin with that. Doing that little top hoop took me a little bit of time because I'm not very skilled with these tools, but soon I'm gonna keep practicing, and so I get better with this. And this is the final result. Both the hamburger and the strawberry turned out completely the way I wanted. They are a bit bigger than the first ones I did, but I have no problem. I really love them. They're very cute to me. And so yeah, I hope you learned some new stuff in this video. I hope you make some keychains or pins. And so yeah, thank you for watching. Bye.